welcome back. Your dreams were your ticket out. Welcome back to that same old place that you laughed about. Well, the names have all changed since you hung around, but those dreams have remained and they've turned around. Who'd have thought they'd lead you? Who'd have thought they'd lead you? Back here where we need you.
Good morning once again, Spraberry High School. Welcome to day 2 of the 2014-15 school year. Hope everyone had an outstanding first day of school. I know the first couple of days can be a little bit overwhelming in dealing with schedule issues and finding your classrooms and new teachers and all that good stuff, but I hope each and every one of you had an outstanding first day back on campus. I want to take just a few minutes this morning to talk to you about a couple of different areas, academically, behaviorally, and socially, and some of our expectations here at Spraberry High School. You students that have been here before and for a new freshman coming in, you know that our expectations are very high for us to do what we're supposed to do, when we're supposed to do it, and how we're supposed to do it. I want to talk to you just a couple things academically in your classes. Students, it's very important to get off to a good start. I think the first couple of days of school, obviously there's some schedule changes and things get a little bit crazy, but that first week is really, really important for you to set the tempo of what you're going to do for academically for the year, to get good start, get a good base as you move into those classes. And we want each and every student to pass each and every class. That is our goal. And look forward to those seniors walking across that stage at the end of the year. In your classes, you should see some things consistently. Each teacher is going to teach you a little bit differently and do things a little bit differently. But I want to remind you about a couple of things we started last year here at Spraberry. Is our first 10 and our last 10 in each and every class. Our expectations is that our teachers hit the ground running. When that bell rings, you're expected to be in that classroom, and a teacher's going to have something meaningful for you to get started with in that class each and every day. Teacher will then move into that work session, whatever that's going to look like in that class, and then have a closing activity, which we call the last 10. There should be no students in the hall the first 10 or last 10 minutes of each class period, and that goes for teachers allowing them to be out, and so students, you don't even need to bother your teacher with that. You need to be in that class when the bell rings. We'll talk a little bit about tardies here in just a second, but that first 10 and last 10 are very important to the academic success that you're going to have in each one of those classes. Another piece that's really, really important, I think, students, to your academic success is your attitude and your effort. I promise you that the expectation and each one of your teachers are going to work extremely hard to make sure that you have every opportunity to be successful. But you have a big piece to play in that as well. And so it's important that you participate in class. It's important that you finish any homework that you're supposed to do and keep up with your studies. Don't dig a hole early in the semester where you've got to try to make it up at the end of the semester. Work hard throughout the semester. I want to encourage you to do that. And just remember, the decisions that you're going to make in those classrooms are going to really affect you as you move on down the line, whether you want to go to college in a couple of years, or whether you want to go to a trade school, or whether you want to go get a job. Nobody's going to hire anybody that doesn't have a high school diploma, so it's real important. Again, the decisions that you make in those classes work real hard to have academic success. I'd like to direct your attention now. Each one of you, if you have a handbook, I'd like you to take your handbook out. You should have gotten a handbook in homeroom. If you don't, your homeroom teacher maybe can pass those out. If you don't have that with you, then look on the handbook with your neighbor. But on the cover this year, one of the things that we put on the cover of the handbook is success through diversity. I think one of the strengths of Spraberry High School is our diversity, both in our staff and in our students. We have a wide range of students and academic abilities and socioeconomic, and that's a great thing. And I think it's important that we embrace that and really take pride in that of who we are at Spraberry High School. That's important. It's one of the reasons why I love working at Spraberry High School, is because of our diversity. A couple of specific things. Again, if you'll take a look at your handbook, I want to talk to you about. On pages 23 and 26, if you'll take just a second to turn to page 23 and 26, 23 through 26, in your handbook, I want to talk to you a little bit about those pages. And on those pages are our attendance policy. The most important thing for you to be successful academically is to be here and be in class. So our attendance policies are listed there on pages 23 and 26. 23 through 26, excuse me. We do not have an open campus. When you get here in the morning, your expectation is that you go to that class and that you be where you're supposed to be. On page 24, there's some information about what is an excused absence as you move through. If you have a need to be out extended, if you get sick, if you have a family situation, there's some information there as well. And then there's some information about tardies and leaving school up on through page 26. And then also work missed if you are going to be out for an extended period of time. So your teachers will work with you on your absence absences and make up work, but the most important thing you can do, the number one thing you can do, is come to school each and every day and have minimal attendance issues. So I'm going to encourage you to do that. The next section in your handbook is on page 27. If you want to turn to page 27, there's some information about our guidance department on page 27. And you are more than welcome to make an appointment with your counselor at any time. You need to make that appointment, though, before school, after school, or during your lunch period. Teachers should not be allowing you to get out of class to go see your counselor unless it's an emergency situation. And in that situation, you need to talk with your teachers and talk with your counselor and make sure that you're doing that. They can help you with some scheduling planning, looking forward as you're looking to plan both here in high school and at the college level of what your needs and desires might be. We're going to change some things up a little bit with Advisement and work with our freshmen, our juniors a little bit differently this year. And then obviously your upperclassmen who need transcripts, you can obtain transcripts and that kind of thing. So there's information there on page 27 specifically about that. Turning the page over to page 28, and I believe it's basically pages 28 and 29. Talk for just a minute about our expectations on the bus and if you're a bus rider. You need to understand that if you are on the bus, that is an extension of Sprayberry High School, and that the same rules and regulations and expectations for your behavior are in effect on the bus as in the classroom, as in the hallway. So there's some information there about the Safe Rider program, responsibility and rules, and then your conduct. And the bottom line is we want you to behave like a responsible young adult. Whether you're in the building, whether you're on the bus, it doesn't matter. That's our expectation. And unfortunately, if you make some decisions that you're not going to live up to our expectation, then you're going to have some consequences. And that could lead up to you not riding the bus and your parents having to bring you to school, and you don't want to do that. So you can take a look at that section. I'd like to turn to page 31. If you have your handbooks, turn to page 31. I want to go over a couple of specific things. Page 31 is the discipline section of our handbook. And as I said, we have high expectations for your behavior. Your teachers are going to have high expectations for your behavior. They're going to be working hard in the classroom to teach you. We don't have time for distractions. We don't have time for you to be a clown in the classroom and create disruptions and those kinds of things. If you make those decisions, you are going to have consequences. So I'd like to just kind of talk about the expectations as we move forward for that. I promise you that your teachers and your administrators are going to be firm, fair, and consistent in dealing with you, regardless of what kind of incidents take place. But if you don't follow these rules and regulations that are in this handbook, then you most definitely are going to have consequences. And the bottom line is we're going to treat you like an adult. We're going to treat you with respect as long as you are living up to that responsibility. Freshmen, I want to talk specifically to you for a minute. We're going to give you a lot of additional freedom here at the high school that you maybe didn't have at the middle school. With that freedom comes responsibility, and you're going to have responsibility and do what you're supposed to do, be to class on time, do those kinds of things, not put yourself in a situation to take away academically. A couple of specifics I would like to talk to you about. If you turn on page 33, it's letter C on page 33. That's the information regarding cell phones. And then on page 35 is the expectation regarding electronic devices, headphones, all those kinds of things, cell phones. We changed last year. Students, we allow you to have those items before school and during lunch in the cafeteria area. Our expectation is that once you go into those academic hallways, the English, the math, the science, the career tech, once you go into those academic hallways, cell phones, electronic devices, headphones, those need to be put up. I'm just as guilty as you are of checking my phone and doing those kinds of things, but we want you to check those things in between classes, not in the academic hallways. Your teachers have been given the flexibility. Many of your teachers are going to use, I know some of you at middle school had the BYOD, bring your own device, and many of your teachers in different classes are going to allow you to use your cell phones, use your tablets, those kinds of things in the class. That is on a teacher-by-teacher basis, and we allow the teachers to use that as they see fit. If it is not a time to have those out, then you're going to be insubordinate, and you're going to have some consequences. And if you look on page 35, using those, basically you're going to give yourself 2 days of ISS by not following our expectations. So again, we're going to try to treat you like an adult. We want you to behave and act like an adult. There's a proper time and there's a proper way to do those kinds of things with phones and electronic devices. So we're going to ask that you give attention to that. If you turn back to page 34, there's some information on page 34, letter E, I believe it is, for checking in and checking out and for cutting class. Again, our expectation is that when that bell rings, you are in class. You are in class for that whole entire time. If a teacher allows you to go to the bathroom or you have to run an errand for a teacher, those kinds of things, you get where you're supposed to be and then you get right back. And that goes the same for teachers. We hold our teachers accountable. We do not want our teachers allowing kids to be out in the hallway, walk in the hallways. That time is meant to be teaching. So you can take a look at the consequences. You'll put yourself in a situation where you're getting ISS, 1, 2, or up to 5 days of ISS, so don't put yourself in those situations. Another part I'd like you to take a look at, and we're going to spend a little bit of time on, is our dress code. That's on page 35. If you take a look at page 35, I'm going to actually read the dress code to you. If you read along with me on page 35, students are expected to dress and groom to reflect neatness, cleanliness, and modesty, as well as a sense of pride in themselves and the school. Dress must neither distract unreasonably the attention of others, nor cause disruption or interfere with the educational program or with the orderly operation of the school. So what does that mean? That means you're going to dress differently at school than you're going to when you're out with your friends at the mall or on a Friday night. Guys, our expectation is to have your pants pulled up. If you're not going to keep your pants on your hips where I need them to be, then we're going to get some zip ties out and we're going to zip tie your pants, or we're going to ask your mom and dad to come get you. We want to look sharp. And the bottom line is, you're coming into my house, and I want my house to look good. When people come into this building and they've never been in this building before, the first students that they see in the cafeteria or in the hallways, that's going to be their impression. We want to give them a good impression. So again, it's just like you would if you had a job. We have expectations for your dress. Ladies, we want you to have things covered up that need to be covered up and dress appropriately. Short skirts, those kinds of things. Your homeroom teacher will talk with some specifics on you on those. Guys, we're not going to wear hats in the building, so we don't need to carry hats. If you bring a hat to school, put it in your locker, put it in your book bag. You don't need to have it on your head. If you do, we're going to take it up and you're going to have some consequences. Again, we're going to treat you like adults. Our expectation is that you're going to meet our expectations for dress code, and looking sharp and looking professional and carrying yourself in a positive manner. That's the bottom line that we want it to look like. I'm not going to read each and every section, but the next page, on page 36, is about fighting. Students sometimes make bad decisions and get in altercations, get in fights, and get in shouting matches. Students, if you do that, you're going to receive a 10-day out-of-school suspension, and you're going to be charged. You're going to receive charges for public disruption, public affray, for disruption of a public school. That's just something that we're going to be consistent with. We're not going to tolerate that kind of behavior. It's not accepted, and it's not acting like adults. Adults don't do those kinds of things in a professional setting, so we're not going to allow those things to go on. What I would encourage you to do is that if you're having a beef with somebody, if you're having a problem, if there's something going on, seek out the assistance of an adult, whether it be a teacher, whether it be an administrator, whether it be your counselor. There are avenues to take to go through, so you don't put yourself in those situations. Same thing if you're having an issue with a student who's bullying or harassing or something like that, bring that to the attention of the adult. I promise you that we will help you in any way that we can, make sure that situation doesn't turn into something that's going to lead to consequences and you being not allowed to go to school. So that's important. Last thing I would like to talk with you about is tardies. We have changed up our tardy policy a little bit this year, and you can find this on page 38. If you have a highlighter, if you have a pen, you can go ahead and circle this. And I'll be honest with you guys, 90%, 95% of our students are in class on time when they're supposed to be. 5% of you put yourself in a bad situation with extreme tardies. If you have a job, what's going to happen if you don't show up to your job on time? Your boss is going to fire you, basically. You're going to have some consequences. If you are a member of an academic team, if you're in the band, if you have practice and you're supposed to be there at 5 o'clock, the expectation is that you're there at 5 o'clock. So we're going to give you a warning bell. You're going to have a 1-minute warning, and then our expectation is that your fanny is in that classroom, in that seat, ready to start learning, and the teacher ready to start teaching. So we've changed up the policy a little bit. On page 38, if you look at that, we're going to give you 5 freebies. Numbers 1 through 5, you're going to get a warning, and you're going to get a student receipt. You'll have to go to the attendance office, and as many of you know, you have to give your student ID number, and they will give you a tardy. You get 5 free ones. On the 6th one, this is the change from last year. On the 6th tardy, you're going to go to ISS. You're going to get 1 day of ISS. On the 12th tardy, then you'll get a couple of extra ones. On the 12th tardy, it'll become 2 days of ISS. 18th tardy, 3 days of ISS, and then there's some progression that goes along with that. We really don't want us to put ourselves in that situation. As I said, 95% of our students do what they're supposed to do, and you're going to have a couple of tardies throughout the year. Those things are going to happen, but we want you to be on time, be where you're supposed to be, when you're supposed to be there, doing what you're supposed to do. That's the expectation. I appreciate your attention as we've kind of gone through some things in the handbook. There's tons of other information in this handbook. I would encourage you to look at that and make sure that you're aware of that. One thing that I would like to direct your attention to, about halfway through the handbook, big part of the reason why we have this handbook is because it's also a planner. So I want to encourage each one of you, if you look in this, there is a weekly planner. Use this as a planner. If you are given an assignment, if you are given a homework assignment, I promise you, if you come into my office, you're going to see that I have a planner that I go through each and every day to see what I'm going to do the next day, what's coming up on Friday. Use this effectively. Being organized, or use some type of plan, but being organized and having a plan, writing things down that I have to do for homework, reminding yourself, those things are just rock solid things, whether you're in school, whether you're an adult, whether you have a job, making sure that you have follow through and understand what you're going to do for your plan each and every day. So, also in the handbook, in the back of the handbook, there's a passport section. If a teacher's going to allow you to go out into the hallway, the teacher should be writing the name, the time. If I find you in the hallway, if administrators find you in the hallway and you don't have this and you don't have the time written down, I'm going to walk you fanny back to class because that's where you need to be for the majority of the time. So again, I want to welcome you back into Sprayberry High School. Just threw a lot of stuff at you. Hope I didn't talk too fast. I want each and every person to be successful, each and every student to be successful this year. And a big part of that is your effort and your responsibility, as I said to you yesterday. So I hope everyone has a great second day of school and has an outstanding year for the rest of the year. If you have any questions or concerns, if I can do anything for you, and then please see me or see one of the members of the administrative team. Everybody have a great day. Thanks.